Sorry about that. I hopped on Randy Kravitz' show for a while. I'm not one to try to get into the drama or make it known here, but there was actually some drama last night, Randy. Me and a few others were getting attacked. And I just came on and actually, I know I'm a little late. Yeah, I kind of got him settled down when I came on. If you notice, he kind of just went calm. Because I looked at him, I was like, "You're not the only one getting attacked. I'm getting attacked for being in a wheelchair and getting made fun of, but I'm getting out of the drama. This is what we came here to talk about." There was an individual that came to my attention. It was a ex of Sierra Dailey, and was told if he talks that a certain individual out of Miluwakee Iron was going to make sure he would go missing. And the thing of that, it's Bill Scratch Pelfrey. He's a ranking member of Miluwakee Iron. I reached out to Lumpy Virgil Burnett, which is a lifelong board member of Miluwakee Iron. Like I told him, I was like, I'm pretty sure the gang task force would love this information of me sticking up for saying somebody going missing for speaking up is not going to happen. And I was told last night if I send one more text that it would be the end of me. And me just kind of press the button, see what would happen. Send a small one. I was like, "You're all talk, no show. You're a blowhard." And he's like, "That's it. You better watch your back, you seen the banner." And I'm like, huh. So if you're telling me a boyfriend of 3.5 years of Sierra Dailey would talk when he was getting cheated on with Cody Widner, the same Cody Widner, if you look on my Facebook, that has I can't believe Karina's dead. I cried when I heard. That was 48 hours within her missing. Paige, Sarah, Marlena, the whole side of the family kept going that Karina was in Florida, other issues. When in reality, they knew within the first 48 hours that she was dead. How? Marlena's own words. There's a lot Marlena is not talking about. The ones that are being hidden and the technical CIs. If you look back at my very first video, 24 hours before the press conference, if I didn't know what I was talking about, didn't know people, names, things like that, things even Marlena even said, then how did I call everything before the press conference? Some of the names, and everybody thinks I'm nuts, but I did it on the YouTube channel, but I'm trying to get enough where I can get like a, let's see if I can actually post a comment. Give me 2 seconds. That goes directly to my Hunting Evil PayPal. Try to get a small generator. It's about 2 feet by 1 foot. It's gas. And it's to power electronics. And I've got a 12-person tent. Anybody else willing to come? I don't have any, like, with my issues, I don't have any ability to kind of be 100% comfortable, but at the same time, I'm sitting here like Jan Crumbly, personal army buddy of mine. She's been the main one, the main push getting this stuff done. I have to give her a shout out, and everybody give her one hell of a shout out to get me armed, to help me get protected. Most of anything, when I've asked anybody for help, Joanne Crumbly, right there in the comments, everybody give her a shout out. She's been one of the biggest supporters, people backing me, and I've been sharing information. Anything happens to me, she's got everything. I'm not saying what state, she's in another state. And there's certain things I've been kind of talking to her about. But at the same time, I'm sitting here like, when it comes to when I've been asking for help, Joanne Crumbly's been the main one behind me, help me when anybody has ever done. Right now, she's actually out of work. She actually went and was a stalker at Walmart, screwed her shoulder up. They ended up firing her before she even got to the doctors. So she's been kind of my powerhouse, helped me along the way. But right now, even she herself's down. She's trying to get her VA stuff in line. She's trying to get her own stability. So the one person that's helped me most throughout all this is, well, night maintenance. But yeah, she ended up blowing her shoulder out working at Walmart. Walmart kind of, this is how they treat veterans. Oh, you got hurt at work? We're going to get rid of you. Bye bye. And she's right now trying to get a compensation for the injury she sustained. She just had surgery and everything like that. So she's going through her own hell right now. But for the longest time, she was my main supporter, my main backer. And she's been my right hand man. And like Christopher, the biggest reason I've been able to fight as hard as I can and keep going as hard as I can is Miss Joanne Crumbly. She's been my right hand man. She's had what we call in military, I got your six. She's had my six so many times, it's not even funny. And the vest I've got, the ability to protect myself, you got to think Joanne Crumbly right there. Like even she said, if I didn't have that, they go to attack me. I can't make it to the stand. Even she knew that. She helped me with that. Right now, I've been talking to her. Right now, I had a drone, only had it up in flight 35 minutes and had it down the road. If you see it, we're out in the middle of the country. Here, I'll let you kind of get a sight. But if you look, I'm out in the middle of the country. I had it up the first time I've ever had it in sport mode where it goes like 42 mile an hour. I took it about 2.5 miles out. My battery's starting to get low, and I was messing around. There's an open field like directly in front of me. I was messing around in the field. Well, with the battery being kind of dead, it ended up disconnecting. While it was disconnecting, it was kind of coasting. Made its way over in front of my neighbor's house on the road. He came out, slid the darn thing down. Jan helped me get a replacement, and I've been having issues with that company ever since trying to get it replaced. Company I went with, you can ask her, it's been a freaking nightmare. How hard is it to send me a prepaid package with my return slip where I can get my refund? And trust me, I know. And then that's one thing, if I make it to Cutler, everybody thinks I'm nuts. But I need to get that drone back up in the air, and I don't know how long this is going to take. But if I can get that drone back up in the air, make it to Cutler, I want to have that drone aerial. And I can take it down to even 2 feet above the ground before it lands. If there's places that are actually newly dug up there in Cutler, that'd be one of the first places I'm going to. Knowing for over 5.5 years they cannot get every bit of every bone out of that area. This freshly dug areas, don't you think it's a little odd? 24 hours right after they make the press conference, we found remains in Miami County. And I'm not one to bash anybody, but if you look on Sunny Justice, I'm not bashing her, but I'm asking her to take that banner down and put it up with something different. It takes a minimum to 6 to 8 weeks unless they're able to do DNA. And with doing such, she has a banner. Karina McClurkin remains identified based off of clothes and jewelry. Anybody knows anything about how they do, even when it comes to the girls, They had to do an autopsy. They had to have family come in and identify the body. But 5.5 years out in the wild, going through every season for 5.5 years, closed. If anybody's left anything out or lost like a shirt out in the open, you know as good as I do. You go back to find that shirt, it's going to be shreds. Nothing of that clothing is going to be there. Say you left a blanket or you lost a blanket, or I'm telling you, put a towel outside for a couple of years. You go out and look, it's going to be in shreds. You're not going to be able to identify the clothing. Any jewelry, it's going to be either rusted up, so unidentifiable. So her banner, the Craner McClurkin's remains were identified because of clothing and jewelry. I even asked Steve with True Crime Web. I know she won't listen to me, but you as former police department, and like Joanne said, it's hard to ID a person when it's been in the weather. And you got to mind you, 5.5 years. Been in every element. Spring, winter, fall, summer, over and over again for 5.5 years. Out in the elements. You're not going to be able to identify somebody off of clothing and jewelry alone. Does not happen that way. So I was asking if they could actually go in and actually take that banner off. And I went through Steve because he's prior law enforcement. She'll listen to you, but I know she won't listen to me. I'll get a text if I go to her and be like, hey, you needed to change the banner. There's no way possible for somebody's remains to be identified based off of jewelry and clothing for that long. If it was maybe a couple months, maybe. But 5.5 years going on 6 years, October the 11th. We're closing in on the 6-year mark, and any clothing, jewelry left out in the elements for 6 years, there's no way. It wasn't. And look, Clardy, I'll actually look into that. Where was that? Like, what state? This reminds me of Tina Slay Richardson. Her son was shot and killed by the cops. Something doesn't ring right about the case. Caleb Slay was his name. I'll actually look into that. And if you tell me what state, I'll actually kind of screenshot that and actually, or have Joanne or somebody screenshot that and send it to me. Or I can go back and look in the comments. And that's another thing on StreamYard. I don't have any members, so if you can become a member on here, and that way I can actually start having moderators, admins, stuff like that. Don't have that right now. My actual desktop computer is so freaking slow and so old. I've got a what is it, like a mic, and then I've got a camera system, but it's not even funny. Even with the bones, unless they get the DNA from the bones, then you don't know. Exactly. And when it comes to a normal process like that, if you look it up, it takes a minimum to 6 to 8 weeks for bones like that to be identified. You got to go through DNA processing, stuff like that. The DNA processing, they can expedite it. It might take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then you got the toxology. Through that DNA, see if they can find out through the DNA toxology. Was there any drugs involved that was able to be found in the DNA strands that they were able to get from the bones? When it goes through your bloodstream, your bones actually take some of the blood and it feeds the bones like nutrients and everything, like calcium, stuff like that from your bloodstream. And it's just like your hair. If there was any hair involved, they can actually take that hair down to your head. The newest follicles coming out of that hair and run that and actually, again, do DNA. They can do toxology, everything with the hair. So if there's any hair involved, that's another major issue. And that's another thing I love about, yes, y'all are going to make fun of me real quick, is if you look on here, I don't know if you can see, anything happens to me, I'm trying to get you to see that. My first M and my last name, Phillips, on my teethers. If many of you didn't know, no, I didn't lose it for meth or drug use. 3.5 months, one of the first cases in Indiana from brown recluse. I've lost 45% of my use on my right hand. When I'm texting, everybody makes fun of me texting wise, but when I'm texting, I'm trying to show you, I don't have much movement on this. So I'm trying to do everything, and it's kind of just like that when it comes to right hand. So everybody's bashing me when I'm trying to text or talk to you like via text. I'm just running on sentences and everything. And that's another thing. If you don't say period, exclamation mark, everything like that when you're doing talk to text, it don't put it in. It doesn't understand that if you're doing talk to text and you just keep talking, it's just going to put what you're saying. It's not going to put, oh, he stopped, so it's going to be a period. Oh, he got excited, so it's going to be an exclamation mark. It is not that smart. So that's another thing. Like anybody that makes fun of me texting wise, not fun, not cool. I try. And see, and then like Uncle Hardy said, screw the haters. But like I said, if on StreamYard, if you guys can, everybody that's here, make sure to go back and actually become a member of my StreamYard. That way I can start getting admins, moderators, have actual members. Uh, Everybody keeps wanting me to drop on here. And like everybody said, as much as I've been saying people's names and everything, I've already got death threats on me. Not about what I can get or anything like that, but if these people are going to be coming at me, it's going to be able to pay my federal lawyer the per hour fee until I can get my witness rights and protections, which the state takes over the legal fees. When it's non-invasive, about 300, and non-invasive means pretty much I give him the intel, he's able to verify it and able to put it in the system, put it into the record with him. Evasive means he has to go in, do research and stuff. It's about $500 an hour. He's a federal lawyer, and he's one of the best ones. Former prosecutor. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how he's going to do it and why he's going to do it. I'm not going to get into subject, but FBI, DOJ, that's one of the first ones we're hitting. Disregard, negligence, lies, and the agent that was over me, he used my intel. Something he asked me to look into about 4 months before Delphi. Named Delphi, Logansport, Peru, and the Sons of Odin group. I've spoke about this before. There's a certain father of a boyfriend of Abby's, belongs to that same group. Gabe Ellis, Kyle Stacy, among a few others. Speaking of Kyle Stacy and a few others, Shannon Young. If you look into her, what the hell? Marlana being friends with a group that killed a black lady, had 2 people bound, hostage, being beaten. 2 different cases. Same group. There's an individual that was actually, I've got proof, friends with the prosecutor, Brittany Cossey. Come to find out, she's the ringleader. She's the one that actually made the call and made everything happen. She's still walking to this day. Friends with Mark McCann. And this is one thing I'm asking everybody to speak up on. And how can a prosecutor, like Brittany Cossey in her case, murder case, mind you, be friends with the suspect that he's going against? Just like Flint Farmer. Everybody wants to attack his family, like his sister, his nephew, niece, make threats, mainly from Marlana's side. But the thing is, there's one issue there. How can a prosecutor that's been family friends with the suspect he's going against, how's that not a conflict of interest? And under Indiana state guidelines, when there's conflicts of interest, you need to have a special prosecutor come in play. His ego, trying to be like, look at me, look at me. Look up Mark McCann, friends with Flint Farmer. His family have been phone calls back and forth. I can get the proof of that. With, guess who? Mark McCann. There's another individual, Adam J. Pratt, Pratt. Before he closes his friends list down, any of you on Facebook, look him up. If Judge Lynn Murray, or Murray, who's friends with a longtime he's actually got drug felonies, violent against women felonies. He's friends with both Mark McCann, many in that drug ring. Then you got Judge Lynn Murray. And if you look back on my case, she's actually been over his cases more than one as the presiding judge. I'm showing more than enough, and I'm going to be speaking up. And I won't say how. I won't say when, what side, but I'll be at that trial. I'll be on that stand. But I'm going to make sure it is in a different change of venue federally with a federal judge and a federal prosecutor presiding. There's major conflicts of interest when it comes to that drug ring. What I call the Kokomo crew, the Kokomo good old boys, corrupt individuals, politicians, elected officials, KPD, Howard County. And I'm going to tell you this much now, that same drug ring, if they really wanted justice on the whole issue instead of one guy they wanted to go after, an Officer Kuntz's death, that same drug ring's behind 3 Terre Haute police officer, Boone County Sheriff, then Deputy Kuntz. And I've actually got hard evidence where I was actually getting told Deputy Kuntz was actually about to go state witness against his own company, his own employer in that county. He knew some things. And then keep in mind, if you look in his case, there was about $2,500 drug money that was sitting in his squad truck, up and disappeared. I'm hearing there's over $10,000 when it comes to KPD and their evidence room, up and disappeared. And you guys trust the same Detective Benziger I've got in video, making fun, laughing, making jokes, and the same Indiana State Police post, Peru, that's involved with Karina's case. You trust these individuals, these detectives that said they don't have enough manpower, don't have enough funds to get 40 children, mind you, children exploitation cases justice. When I asked him, if you're underfunded, undermanned, why don't you get assistance from like the FBI federally? No. But go and look at one of the very videos I've actually got on here inside KPD. You trust Detective Benziger, Galloway, among others? And that's another federal lawsuit coming in against KPD later on, Carroll County. And with these, what I've shown my federal lawyer, his jaw dropped. He's like, are you kidding me? No. I'm going to show, and I'm going to have FBI come out. And that's the thing I'm going to say right now. I hope FBI sees this. Baffy, Baffy, is about to tell all. Michael Curtis, the agent over me. I can say a few cases that I actually got arrested on. I'm about to speak and tell all. Get a hold of some defendant's attorneys. Recant everything I said. All evidence. More than one case. Unless Michael Curtis and the FBI come out, they knew intel and they failed to act like they did. Jihad compound in New Mexico, same time frame. Both Florida shootings. They were forced to come out. We knew intel. We failed to act. They knew intel. Individuals involved with Karina's case failed to act. As an FBI informant, I had death threats on me. Attempted break-ins. I had to get the driver that picked up Karina a protective order as a FBI informant. What happened to the federal laws? Witness, victim, and informant tampering when deaths are involved, 30 years each. And the new mayor, the new chief of police can't say they did not see that and did not hear what I had to say. Their fingerprints on hard documents that I've got in there, and I have not opened the folder. I get those fingerprinted, it's going to go back to the new mayor, flaunting, look at me, the new chief, look at me on Karina's case. They know more than what they're telling you. And those hard documents, the protective order, I still have, and it's in the folder, and I refuse to open that folder up knowing I've got fingerprints that are sitting back to the new chief and the new mayor. Listen, Kokomo Police Department actually wanted to go against me. And when it comes to going against me, withholding information unless I was able to prove who I was, why I was told to wait, work with FBI only. I showed the prosecutor's office, and yes, they asked me, do I consent to be an audio video in the prosecutor's office, just like the 2017 interview. 2017 interview, this is years before I even heard about Shannon Young saying what she wore when she dropped her off, or about Marlana, what she said when she dropped her off, and I can prove this. I was explicitly explaining, like I'm looking at my foot doing this, but the sandals, how they wrapped up her ankles, how the jeans looked, the dark jeans, holes in them, the shirt she was wearing. Her own words. I was like, I asked him. She did mention a name, but with somebody having that out in the open, I refused to bring up a name that was already been slandered and brought up and everything. So she just said she was coming from down the street. She kept looking back towards Village Pantry. Her own words, they say I'm as good as dead, kept coming out of that girl's mouth. And if they can ping Flint Farmer's sister's phone messages on there, here's a challenge, KPD. And I want each and every single person that listens to this, to call them out. There's a text I sent Karina McClurkin, my full name, in that phone. If she's supposed to be dead, when I woke up later that day, and mind you, I slept a little extra, because all night, instead of coming back home like I was supposed to, go to bed, I stopped and helped somebody. Well over 3 hours. I sent her a text because I wrote her number down. The pen I had blew up in my pocket from being in the heat. It's a regular ballpoint pen. Anybody knows if you keep a pen like that in your pocket, the heat's going to bust the ink. Well, it was able to write some of the numbers down. But I remember when I knelt down on the sidewalk, I was able to scratch the numbers in. The pen didn't want to ink it. I went home and I actually sat slowly and inked every single number in. Send a text to Karina McClurkin's cell phone. Hey, this is Michael Phillips. I was the one that stopped and helped you last night. You give me your number to make sure you made it home all right. Did you? And the exact same thing that came back was, I made it home. Thank you for everything. What's allowed that phone to be pinged to a location. If she was dead And Marlena, her own words, was contacted by the suspects there to come get her cell phone and her glasses. This is the same cell phone later on. Jerry was notified by Marlena. She left her cell phone here. If it pings back to Marlena's phone, like not phone, but house, and Marlena is the one that actually sent me that text back, and you're going to believe all her friends on that side, on everything that they're saying. They made a story and they're keeping to it to protect each other, knowing if the truth's coming out, down to Marlena and LaBrittany. The tampering, the covering, it's illegal. The threats made, illegal. It's sick. Marlena going around threatening people, just like Bill Scratch Pelfrey. And I'm going to go back to this. Her friends with the motorcycle clubs are a major issue within that good old boy system. Like I said, I'm not trying to make money. All for me. A bunch of this is going to go into either equipment or going into other cases that are tied back to this. Like I said, I got an IMPD officer, southeast side of Indianapolis. There's other cases that are tied and connected to go back into Karina and Delphi. There's names that go back from the Kokomo 2018 raids, like Tyler French, Gabriel Ellis. If you look up the 2008 Gabriel Ellis manufacturing meth, Prince William Road and 100 South, why isn't a child predator that has a exact, real close to that area, knowledge of that area being looked at and not overlooked? A child predator with known arrest right there, right near the bridge, you're not going to look at? Why? And it's coming to say out, and I'm not blaming Derek, but if he did wrong somebody, there's informant rights and protections that were failed or not given like they were on me. If he spoke up on somebody to try to get somebody arrested, like I'm hearing Christy Lynn Martin, the Flora dealer, who, if you look on her page right now, you're going to find Anthony Thomas, a Flora Fire Department firefighter, friends with a known drug felon. Come on now. A dealer in Flora. And you remember the mom's traffic in and out of her house of what? I started finding connections from the mom of the four girls back to Christy Lynn Martin, one of the big dealers in Florida, that tiny town. She's one of the bigger dealers. She took the charges in place of Gabe when a certain father rolled. Dustin Prater. He was mad because if you look up, like I said, 2018, we're the same area, 50 feet away, Derek German and Dustin Prater's ammonia theft. Look at the time frames. Look who walked away. Look who tried doing a plea and ended up taking all the time. There's more than meets the eye to more than one case. I'd say on a little bit more, but my phone's at 13, so I might do a late night later on tonight. I'm gonna let my phone charge up, and if anybody doesn't believe me, if you've got me on Facebook, I'm at 13% right up here, and my phone's about to die. But I got plenty more, and I'm gonna call a few people out, like the FBI. If you don't want me talking, you might want to be like the New Mexico compound. You screwed up. Just like you did in New Mexico, the Jihad compound. You had an FBI informant inside that compound, was working with you. It took that informant, like I am now, to speak up, to get you guys to say, yes, we knew intel and we failed to act. You knew intel on the first of 3 victims. You knew intel and you failed to act when it came to Delphi, Indiana, and those 2 little girls. Then you used my intel, Michael Curtis, to involve yourself in that investigation. It was shortly after that, after I went to the Department of Justice, showing your lies, disregard, and negligence on that case, Karina's, mishandling of an informant, turn witness, turn victim, while under you. Michael Curtis, he's actually out of the FBI, no longer able to be protected. I want to make sure he is prosecuted to the fullest extent. And the FBI needs to come out. We knew intel. We failed to act. And if they don't want me speaking up on other cases, I got 38 years on one. There's a major Indiana one, and there's proof that I was forced. I didn't know this guy out of Kokomo. I was forced to look into an individual that they left me for dead. That was roommates with Jeremy Patterson when he was killed. He kept begging him to go to the store with him. And he's friends with Alan Tinker. If you guys don't want me talking to FBI, you might want to start doing something. Down to when I got a hold of you, serious threats of bodily harm. Just like I got last night from Bill Pelfrey. If I keep my gums running, I'll be the next one goes missing killed. I even have the email where I showed the FBI this. Nothing. And on their page, serious threats of bodily harm is something they look into. But if they don't want me speaking on some things, they might want to start admitting some things, just like they did 3 other times. And everybody's like, if you're an informant, why are you speaking out like you are? Look up the jihad compound where a 3-year-old lost their life, New Mexico. It took the FBI informant to speak up. FBI gave it to the locals. Here, take care of this. Just like they did when it came to me and Karina's case. You got tired of listening to me? Go to the KPD. Everybody's saying, if you were an informant, why are you saying and you're speaking out now? It's the same reason that informant did down in New Mexico. They knew intel and they failed to act, and that's what I'm trying to show right now. But again, anything I'm able to get, I'm trying to get a small generator, and I'm not trying to come up with thousands, but anything else, like, it's going to go towards my I don't think I posted that right because it didn't show up. Just give me a second. There. That's the right one, the very end. Anything I can get, I'm trying to get the generator to keep my stuff up. You can ask Joanne Crumbly. I'm having major issues with the company I got my drone from. It was a DJI, a friend of mine gave me. Joanne actually helped me get the replacement. And the company I went through, it's being a complete hassle. I'm trying like HE double hockey sticks, get that back, get it back up in the air. That's one of the things holding me back, or I'd be going up Cutler right this day. I need my aerial legs and eyes, places I can't go to until I get up. They're actually on Starla. One thing where KPD is used in the past, Kokomo Cab. Look up Kokomo Cab. And Joanne, yes, she did leave. And I actually had on Jerry herself. She did leave Flint. And then I was at the right place at the right time. So yes, Jerry's on words. She did leave Flint. And I was at the right place at the right time to help her. And Jerry's own words. But what I was getting at, Kokomo Cab is right next to Village Pantry. There's a video place. That was a video place at the time. It's now like I think it's like a gas station or something they turned it into. But there's multiple places along the way, like Kokomo Cab, they've used in other cases. They only brought up Village Pantry, which after Karina left, I was out of cigarettes. I went over there and I did an EBT purchase. And if I look back and I can actually ask the EBT and get the time and date of that purchase through them. But I actually got, and yes, there is actually video footage. Like I said, Kokomo Cab had multiple video cameras. In case you never wanted to look at them. They've got the Village Pantry video footage they obtained. And in that video footage, I guarantee you'll see me pointing back over towards where I helped Karina. And I was explaining it to them. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to make of it. But hands down, I'm gonna come on a little bit later. My phone's down at 9%, so I had 64%, but then I went on his for a little bit. If anybody is able to help, like I said, Joanne Crumley, she's been my rock in a hard place. She's helped me so much like you would not believe. And if anybody is on here, give her a shout out and a thank you. If it wasn't for her, wouldn't be able to fight as hard as I have been. She's one of the major helps that helped me get this federal lawyer going. It's on. I'm not taking this lightly, but I will be on a little bit later, and I'm gonna let my phone charge, but I'm gonna let you guys get off here. But like I said, start asking, demanding some questions. How can a prosecutor be friends with a suspect's family and even the suspect for years? And this is more than one case, even when it comes to a judge, Lynn Murray. Do your research. Look around. Adam J. Pratt, Pratt. Look his my case up. Look who his friends are. And he's not the only one. There's more to what meets the eye. The corruption and the good old boy club of Kokomo needs to be coming down.